David, you and your colleagues, about a year and a half ago or so, you published this. It's a very useful review article that people might want to check out. It was in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, and where you did what is called kind of a meta-analysis or a systematic review of all the literature to really get at what was the state of knowledge, at least in the academic domain, around microdosing. And so I'm wondering if you could just quickly tell us a bit about the kinds of conclusions that you were able to draw, realizing that was, 18 months is a long time in the state of this science, which is moving very fast. But maybe you can just set the groundwork for where things were, at least last year.
Basically, the conclusion was that there's a lot of anecdotal evidence, not a lot of safety evidence. One of the things raised in the paper, by the way, the first author is Kip Kuipers, who's a professor in Maastricht, so not with our team, so it was a sort of a collaborative paper. The conclusion is very anecdotal. Safety-wise, we brought forward the 2B receptor as something to think about because it's expressed in the heart valves, and previous medications have been taken off the market because they induced fibrosis in the heart valves, and that was mediated through 2B receptor.
This is the serotonin receptor.
Serotonin receptor. Yeah, so the psychedelics work in that system, in the serotonin system in the brain, but they obviously will also be circulating in the blood system and will hit targets for where they also would hit in the brain and some of those receptors are in the serotonin system are sitting more outside the brain, and including the 2B. The psychedelics, they do not only target the main sort of key psychedelic action receptor, which is called the 2A receptor in the brain. It's serotonin 2A receptor, but also this 2B receptor. And there's no reason to believe that sporadic full doses haven't been cases with any problems with the heart. But if people suddenly start taking, a bit like if they take SSRIs often for many, many years, so if you kept on microdosing forever, could that potentially affect the heart valve? So maybe some animal experiments might be a thing to do at some point. Maybe some people are already doing it. I could imagine actually that there would be, in order to test that, to be a little bit more on the safe side. And then basically the paper was concluding that there's a lot of promising sort of but weak evidence that it can potentially improve mood, improve anxiety, and also stimulate cognition, memory, and creativity. All these things that microdosing have been that are becoming more and more known to do. However, a lot of people, I think at this stage, and also even more than a year ago, thought that the few data had come out that supported were really basically concluding that psychedelic works. I guess it can be confusing with evidence because there's so many levels of evidence. One thing is the anecdotal, and where there's no placebo control, and also sometimes some of the evidence comes from retrospective. So if people are asked, you microdosed, how did it go? What improved? What went worse? That's a pretty confounded way of it. It's fine. It's better than not trying, and it can start producing some hypothesis to conduct more solid trials where they are better. They are designed in order to prove whether this is working beyond placebo levels. So I would say the conclusion was that studies need to be done, and studies are being done. And as people might know, particularly my Maastricht group are doing quite a lot of sort of very solid microdosing work where there are placebo and different doses and so on.